JUNA.R.J, and it's been a while since I last made a video. It's been almost forever now, even before the pandemic happened. And now that we live in the pandemic, we are on our way to see Wonder Woman 1984, and I'm on my way to see it in IMAX. And as you can see, I'm all dressed up, all wearing the mask. It's kind of like a zombie apocalypse for me, but I did want to do a little bit of a vlog, what's it like to watch a movie during the pandemic, because it's been a while since I last made a movie. The last movie I went to see was Onward, and my first film seeing in 2020 was Birds of Prey, which is a DC film, and now I'm seeing another DC film, and that's Wonder Woman 1984 being the last film, the last DC film to be seen in 2020. But for the time being, let's get to the cinema as for now. Okay, we have arrived at the hotel. I'm running a little bit late, but I'm on my way. Let's go! Alright, we got the ticket. IMAX, here we go. Alright everyone, I'm at the theater. It must be crazy right now to be here in IMAX watching it during the pandemic. But here I am in IMAX. Let the movie begin and I'll come back for the review. Now you can see it. It's on Disney Plus. Must wait until next week, next year. It's on Disney Plus. It's on VOD. It's on Disney Plus. So this was the IMAX technology that they upgraded in my cinema. This movie might come out on Disney Plus Premier Access. And this movie hasn't come out in theaters yet. Where the hell are you? It's almost January, for God's sake. Alright, so I just got back from Wonder Woman 1984. I am outside on the lobby of the mall right now. I am on my way home. And on to the next clip, we are going to be discussing and reviewing on Wonder Woman 84. So, on to the review we go. Alright, so I just got back from Wonder Woman 1984. Fresh out from the theaters, and what can I say about it? Well, let's start with the plot. What you need to know about Wonder Woman 1984. Diana Prince is in 1984. She must fight against two new villains, Max Lord and Cheetah. That's your external plot. As for the internal plot, or I could call it the Wikipedia plot, it's more about Wonder Woman and her friend who found this new item, who found this artifact, and all of a sudden this businessman takes in hand of the artifact and then chaos happens. That's your internal plot. Hey, we learned that in college, alright? But speaking of Wonder Woman 84, what can I say about it? Well, the thing that comes in mind to me about Wonder Woman 84 is how different it is about Wonder Woman 84 compared to the first Wonder Woman film, which I got right over there. So how different it is? Well, many things. There are many differences I can see. Well, the first film was more about Diana going back to her past, to when World War I happened, and where she must stand up to the people and to tell her that love is the weapon, love is the key to everything. While as for the sequel has a different thing. It takes place in a different era, it takes place in a different culture and style, and also the situation that is happening in the second film compared to the first film. Where first film relies more on World War I and how men wanted to do war against peace. As for the second film, it's more about desire as being the symbol, which I'll get to that later on. And it's very different. It feels like a different Wonder Woman film. It even feels like, I don't know what kind of Wonder Woman film I'm watching, but I'm just getting straight to the Wonder Woman film because the plot feels a little messed up. Well, I mean, in the opening scene, we get Diana, young Diana, doing the Olympics in Themyscira and having a little background about her, which I thought that's a good extended. I thought I liked the Olympics game, which I thought was also a cool scene. Now it looks enjoyable, especially if you're seeing it in IMAX, which being the only IMAX shot when I say it in IMAX, and that's about it. The whole film is in 35mm, while the last scene is in IMAX. And that's about it. That's your IMAX experience. What I like about Patty Jenkins when it comes to the Wonder Woman films is that she tried to tell a moral. She tried to have a message in the film. As for the first film was more about stopping war and to make peace and love over war. That was for the first film, Wonder Woman, which is right over there. As for the second film, what the film Convoy in the second film, she conveyed more about how we wanted something, how we desire something, and when we get what we want, that becomes our consequence to the world and to everyone as well. Well, that was more of the conflict that happened in the film compared to the first film. And as well, the villain feels very different, which I want to get to Pedro Pascal later on throughout the characters as we discuss about the film. So what are the things I like about the film? I like about how we use 1984 as the setting and how we get to different things. We don't really get much about the culture, but I like how Wonder Woman has a new style, how we get to see the new characters in style as well as the new characters, and the way that Patty Jenkins put in her moral message into this film. And I find that interesting. And as well, for a 2 hour and 30 minute, I guess this film tries to at least rapidly puts everything in it. So after that opening backstory, and then we just go straight to what's happening in the opening scene of what's happening. There's a crime going on, and then the superhero stopped it, and then we get more about the item we looked for, and then we just go straight to the problem. The plot just goes straight to where it needs to be and then moving on to the next scene. That was something about the plot. There are also many things I like about Wonder Woman 1984. For example, like the way they portray the characters in the film, I thought that was also great. And there's this one scene which, the moment I look at this scene, the moment I look at what they have, it was actually revealed in the trailer, but the moment I see it, I was like, okay, you really did it. I clapped my hands quietly and like, you did it. That's what I could say. It's just, you see it in the trailer, just, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's going to be seen. You're going to see it in the movie, that's for sure. That's what I like. And I wish that was something that we could see in the future as well, in future Wonder Woman films, or maybe in the future DCU films. That's for sure. Hans Zimmer also did a great job with the score. I guess his score on Wonder Woman 1984 is better than the score for Wonder Woman by Rupert Gregson-Williams. And speaking of Hans Zimmer, I think we've all known him for doing Nolan films. That is before Tenet, which which God knows when I'll ever get to see it. But speaking of Nolan, I want to talk about The Dark Knight, another DC film, not in the DCEU, but a DC film by Christopher Nolan, and Wonder Woman 84, another DC film made by a very admirable directors. Now, the thing about The Dark Knight, I watched this throughout the pandemic, and I find out why The Dark Knight is very dark. Now, the relation with Wonder Woman 1984 is the elements that Patty Jenkins put into Wonder Woman 1984. I guess Patty Jenkins wants to make the conflict more complicated compared to the first film. I like how the first film feels very interesting. We just get straight to the point. And as for the sequel, we just move on to the straight point. We just want to go straight to what's going on, and it doesn't take easily with the first film. The first film I thought did great. We did great with the action. We did try to say its message very well. As for the second film, they just want to do it like immediately. And not saying that it is the Dark Knight version of Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is a PG-13 film for all the girls all over the world. And for me, saying that Wonder Woman 1984 was the Dark Knight for Wonder Woman was the fact that Wonder Woman is dealing with a lot of things. This was not more about dealing with the crimes that are happening, but it's more about dealing with what crime that person desires until that desires becomes a crime towards everyone. I kind of want to discuss the character, because when it comes to the plot of Wonder Woman 1984, we're more based on the character that started that conflict to happen. And of course, Wonder Woman, as the protagonist of the film, must stop that villain from doing what he's doing. So let's just get on to the characters. Diana Prince as Wonder Woman, I thought she was excellent. I like Gal Gadot's performance in as Wonder Woman as usual, and I feel like her style in this film is better. I like the suit that she wears, I want to call it the Golden Angel suit, because I feel like I just want to put someone's face in it if I'm good at Photoshop. But the thing is that Gal Gadot has a struggling time compared to what she had in the first film. I mean, she still has the heart, but it feels like she's more struggling in this film compared to the first film. And then we get to Chris Pine's film. I was expecting Chris Pine would de-age or something would happen to him, but Chris Pine just happens to be there. There's Steve Trevor in the film, and then something happened unexpectedly to Steve Trevor, which I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but after seeing Wonder Woman 1984, I'm like, okay, I knew it that happened. I thought it was a de-aging or something, but Steve Trevor is still Steve Trevor after all, and nothing much about Steve Trevor, and that's what I can say. The main villain is Max Lord. I'm going to put in Pedro Pascal as Max Lord, because I like this guy as a villain. But as a character in Wonder Woman 1984, I think he's very enthusiastic. He's very special and very talented. At the same time, he's very violent, wicked, and I admire Pedro Pascal playing the role as the villain in Wonder Woman 1984. Well, what I can say about his act is that he's very enthusiastic. He's the guy from the news. He's like, you can get what you want if you can dream for it. And I like the way he acts in the film. And the way that he acts as a villain, he's very sinister, and he's trying to be very violent, wicked. This is like how he acts in the film. He's like, okay, what do you want? You want this to happen? Okay, you get it. But in return, I want something. This is how he uses his powers throughout the films. And oh god, did I just spoil the film? But I think it's Pedro Pascal as the main villain. I think he works very well. He's very wicked. And speaking of Pedro Pascal, I mean, if you just pay attention to the way he talks, to his dialogue, you can sense his Mandalorian accent in it. I just pay attention to Pedro Pascal, the way he talks. So I know that, hey, that's the guy who also played the Mandalorian, who's also playing a villain in the DCEU film. And I love it. Pedro Pascal, I mean, I've known him since The Great Wall. But I guess in future films, I guess he's doing great. And especially as the villain in Wonder Woman 1984, I guess he's very terrific. Patty Jenkins did a great job in trying to portray a very vile villain, especially portrayed by Pedro Pascal. Now I want to discuss a little bit about Kristen Wiig playing as Barbara Minerva, or as well we can know her as Cheetah. Now the reason why I put her second to Max Lord, because I know Cheetah is the main villain to Wonder Woman, but there was not much to Cheetah in this film. It was more like, okay, we get Barbara as herself, and then things happen to her, and then she's like, you know what, I want more than that, and then she becomes Cheetah, and then that's about it. That's just about it. She was like good in the beginning, and all of a sudden she just
pops out as the villain, and she's just there as the villain. She's Cheetah, and that's about it. There's not really much about Kristen Wiig, but at the same time, Kristen Wiig in this film, she did a great job playing Barbara, but unfortunately, Cheetah had not much to say in this film, as well as being the main villain to Wonder Woman, and I wish we could have get more. Maybe sometimes in the sequel or in the future DCU films that can explain what happened to Barbara Minerva. Did she get arrested, or maybe Cheetah is planning on something like the Legion of Doom? I would have looked forward to that. And speaking of which, there is a cameo scene in the ending in the post-credits. I did not stay until the after-credits, but I'll do it later for when the film is available on HBO Max. That post-credit scene where they had a cameo, and I was like, okay, the cameo is not like what you think, but I say to myself, why do you have to have cameo? Okay, I get it. You want to be in the film, but why? What's your purpose? This is the same thing I had with Hobbs and Shaw. I mean, I'm not mad with them being in a cameo, but I just joined them. In the end, cameo is just made for fun, and we can all admire having one person showing up in the film, and I would like to have that showing up in future films later someday, maybe in relation with any other DCU films, which I get like completely nothing because it's a continuation to the first Wonder Woman film. Let's get to my critic. I'm going to say that Wonder Woman 1984 is a glorifying sequel that it takes the wonder in a different level. If you're new to this channel, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. That's the number that came in mind. Like I said, it's the far from home version of Wonder Woman, but somehow better, and there is a better way of representing the moral in this film. And that's what I like about Wonder Woman 1984, not only because of the conflict that's happening in the film, but the message that it's trying to convey as well with the first film. God, please don't make Wonder Woman 3 your last film, Patty Jenkins. I want to see more of Gal Gadot and you in action, please. Just deal with the Star Wars thing later, okay? Okay, now I feel guilty after going out the theater and not buying popcorn. Maybe I have to... Oh, great. Now I have to go back to the theater and buy popcorn. That's for sure. Just a one-round heist mission, and that's about it. But yeah, that was my review on Wonder Woman 1984. Have you seen it? What you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me if you're going to see it on the big screen, or are you just going to see it on streaming. And if you plan to see this movie in IMAX, I would say it's a glorifying experience of Wonder in IMAX. This movie was shot in IMAX, only for the beginning part and the end part. But if you're going to see that film in 35mm in IMAX, it's worth the watch. It's worth the watch. I can tell you about it. IMAX, it's my church, it's my home, it's my home sweet home, and I'm happy to be in theaters to watch this film in IMAX. Just go ahead. If you have a big screen, you want to get the best experience for IMAX for Wonder Woman, it's IMAX. It's going to be IMAX, especially if you have this thing called IMAX with laser. But yeah, that was my review on Wonder Woman 1984. That's all I can say about this. Guys, it's been a while since I last made a video. I guess there hasn't been much about me. I've been through my bad days. It's been we're at my losing point, but then again, you only live once. And that's why I went to see Wonder Woman 1984 in theaters. And thank God it's my last movie in theaters over Onward. So yeah, that was my review on Wonder Woman 1984. Here's the outro.